Mungu ibariki Tanzania, dumisha uhuru na umoja wake kwa waume na watoto. Mungu ibariki Tanzania na watu wake. Ibariki Tanzania, ibariki Tanzania, tubariki watoto wa Tanzania.
Do you want to learn, understand, enjoy, and apply the beauty of advanced physics? If that's the question that you have in your mind, then to answer it's the right answer for your fantastic question. How are you, everybody who is watching this video? I would like to take this opportunity to greet and welcome all the pre-Form 5, all the national pre-Form 5 students, all the national Form 5 students, and all the national Form 6 students, all the international pre-Form 5 students, and all the international Form 5 students, and all the international Form 6 students or high school students into our fantastic online school that called Tanzania Online Advanced Secondary School in square bracket OLENJOLAIM. So square bracket OLENJOLAIM. And here in square bracket it's OLENJOLAIM. Okay, my name is OLENJOLAI Moko Tayai Losingo. Simply just call me OLENJOLAI. I thank God by His own grace, He has called me to be a national and international teacher of advanced physics for the Form 5 and the Form 6. I have a responsibility to teach you 8 subjects of advanced level. The first one is called Advanced Physics Form 5, and the second one is called Advanced Physics Form 6. The third one is called Advanced Chemistry Form 5, and the fourth one is called Advanced Chemistry Form 6. And the fifth subject is called Advanced Mathematics Form 5. The sixth subject is called the Advanced Mathematics Form 6. The seventh subject is called Basic Applied Mathematics Form 5, and the eighth subject is called the Basic Applied Mathematics Form 6. Wonderful. So total of 8 subjects for advanced education, and actually I'm going to teach more than 60 combinations. I'll be teaching students from different combinations, especially until it will be more than 60 combinations. I'm a Tanzanian, and this is our national flag. I love so much my country, and I'll be using the curriculum and the syllabus recommended or used in Tanzania to teach advanced secondary education. So I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our national and international viewer, because physics, advanced physics, is the cross-cutting subject which is used to be learned in any continents, such as in African continents we learn advanced physics. In Europe we learn the same advanced physics. In America we are learning the same advanced physics. In Asia we are learning the same advanced physics, and also in Australia we are learning the same advanced physics. So welcome into Tanzania Online Advanced Secondary School in square bracket OLENJOLAIM. Simultaneously, we'd like to welcome you into one of our official YouTube channel that called Tanzania Online A-Level Secondary School in square bracket OLENJOLAIM. Okay, so you have so many questions in your mind. If you are a new student, or you are actually a frequently viewer of our videos, but you still have some doubts, so you still have some questions, and later on so we'll be combining our sessions with testimony from our previous high school students, because we have taught more than 2,000 high school students from 2010 to 2014 by God's grace, not by maybe by our power or by our strengths or by our intelligence, but by God's grace we have taught more than 2,500 high school students in Tanzania. But right now we are enlarging the tent even to teach also international students. So, what vision do we have in TOASO? TOASO is the abbreviations of Tanzania Online Advanced Secondary School in square bracket OLENJOLAIM. This is the vision that we have. We have an assignment to teach, train, incubate, and mentor advanced secondary students on how they can extract knowledge, understanding, and wisdom from the classroom instructions in advanced physics, advanced chemistry, advanced mathematics, and basic applied mathematics from 5 to Form 16, and combine with the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom that we are going to teach them to extract it from the Word of God written in the Holy Bible in order to solve real life problems. So the main objective of TOASO is to teach you how you have to think outside of the class, how you have to think differently, and how you have to think taking these informations on solving real life problems. So because now you're advanced secondary student, you have to think to solve at least intermediate and even just complicated real life problems, because of your level of thinking is quite different from your level of thinking from ordinary secondary education studies. So that is the point of focus. We'll be having some specific objective that we'll be achieving. We'll be preparing you for your excellent performance in your continuous assessment, in your next exams. We know that you'll have a national exams in Tanzania. We call it Advanced Certificate Secondary Education Examination. Tell me in the comment section, please, how do you call your final exam for high school? And then I'll learn from you, because we have to learn from each other. Remember that I don't know everything about advanced physics. I just know small portions of advanced physics, but I have a responsibility to teach others about what I know. Then that's the business that I'm doing right now. So the main objective of TOASO is not to teach you to pass exam. That is one of the specific objectives, that we are going to teach you to pass your continuous assessment exam and also to pass your final exams that we call NECTA exams, or it has been prepared by National Council for National Council of Examination in Tanzania. That the meanings of what or the long terms of NECTA, National Examination Council of Tanzania. How about the council? What the name of the council of that is supervising secondary education in your country? Tell me in the comment section, please. Okay, all right. I would like to take this opportunity also to welcome you into a few steps that you have to follow for you to register yourself permanently to TOASO. The first step, if you don't have an email, then you have to create or open a new email address. If you have the old one, then you have to remember your username and password. The second step, we ask you to sign in YouTube by using your email address. And then the third step, we ask you to search TOASO. TOASO is not existing in YouTube. What does it exist in is this YouTube channel name that called the Tanzania Online A-Level Circuit School in square bracket OLENJOLAIM. So just copy and paste it in your search of TOASO. TOASO is the abbreviations of Tanzania Online Advanced Secondary School in square bracket OLENJOLAI. Once you search it, you will see a round buttons with some words on the right hand side beside it that's called the Tanzania Online A-Level Circuit School in square bracket OLENJOLAIM. You'll see the number of videos. We thank God by His own grace, we have now published more than 100 videos. And then you'll see the number of subscribers. So soon you'll be a next subscriber. So then this is, I will say round buttons with our national flag. I am a Tanzanian, and this is the national flag once again. So he asks you to click the round button. So click these round buttons only once. Once you click, you are already in TOASO. You are already in a front view, or just we call it our welcome poster, which is called a trailer, a video trailer, your welcome poster of TOASO. So you're only welcome. We know you are pre-Form 5 students. We welcome all the pre-Form 5 students to enjoy the beauty of our contents, because you know that you spend almost more than 6 months of preparation. So take TOASO as one of your way to get prepared into Form 5 and Form 6 educations with correct collections of the materials in your mind before you report to your desired school. So the fifth step, that find the buttons which has been written subscribe, right? And then we ask you to click that buttons once, and then the buttons will change from, the text will change from subscribe into subscribed. And once that you finish that, you'll have an icon of the bell. So after having an icon of the bell, we ask you to click this icon of the bell. You'll see 3 options, and the one option is called the all. So choose that options of all, and then from there you have already registered yourself permanently into ASO. So right now you are an active student, but that is not enough. The point is, we are adding videos every day. We have a vision to record more than 600 training and teaching videos of advanced physics, advanced chemistry, advanced mathematics, and best applied mathematics for advanced secondary students. So we insist you to visit our YouTube channel every day in order for you to get the updates or to go through the new video that we are publishing into the world. But we'll be dedicating firstly to the Tanzanians, and then later on to the other Africans students, Americans, Europeans, Asians, and Australian students. Okay, so why did you subscribe? That the question is very important. So the aim for you to subscribe is in order to get official notification from the YouTube community once we upload or we add a new video. You'll be online anywhere at any time. That's the advantage of ASO. Then you can access our contents. Furthermore, for you to access our contents, which are only online, we don't have any physical advanced secondary school. So we ask you to click the horizontal bar called the playlist. When you click the round buttons, you'll see the top horizontal play bar, which contains 6 weights or 5 weights, it depends. The first one is called the home, videos, playlisting, channel, community, and about. I think that you'll see that toolbar. So click the toolbar or the buttons that written playlist. Then find the playlist written measurements. So there you'll find the collections of all sessions about measurement. Right now, this is session 4. We have taught you session 0, session 1, session 2, session 3 of the measurement, and this is session 4. So you can access previous session and you can access other future sessions systematically in our playlist that called the measurements. So if that's the case, you don't have any question, I would like just to give you just a method for you to ask me questions within in the middle of this session, in the middle of this session, or even at the end of this session. Please just check at the bottom of your left hand side. You will see the place which has been written comments, and ask your questions and interact with me at any time. So ladies and gentlemen, I know that right now you are ready to receive good news. So we welcome you into our departments of advanced physics. The subject today is called advanced physics, and these contents are prepared and I would like to dedicate to pre-form 5 students, I dedicate also to form 5 students, to form 6 students, QT students, reciters of the forms of advanced physics exam, reciter students who are reciting advanced physics exam, class 9 student, no, not class 9, excuse me. This is class, okay, so in some of the countries we call it class 14 or class 12. For example, in India, it's class 12. And also like to welcome teachers to take advantage of these contents. And we are in chapter 1 that called measurements, which contains dimension and error. So today we'll be focusing on dimensions, and welcome into session 4 that titled as physical quantities and dimension. So before we start today's contents, let me do the quick review of what? Quick review of previous session. So quick review of session 3. So in session 3, basically, we taught you some very important concepts. The first important concept that we have taught you in lecture 3, we taught you about the definitions of measurement, what is measurement, and one of the definitions is defined that. So we taught you about measurement. So I taught you 3 definitions of what of measurement. One of the definitions state that what is measurement? Measurement is a determination of the size or magnitude of something by comparing that unknown quantity with some standard quantity of equal nature known as measurement unit. That's the definitions of measurement. Then I presented to you 6 importances. Why are we studying measurement? Importances of what? Of measurement. So measurements is a very important subject in the field of advanced physics or in the entire field of physics. Then I've given you examples of measurement. Okay, some examples of what? Examples of measurement. So it means we can measure different physical quantities by using different instruments. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we say that we taught you about physical quantity. We taught you about physical quantity. Physical quantity, what is physical quantity? Okay, and hence we gave you some examples of physical quantities. We have a physical quantity called mass, called the physical quantity called the area, called the momentum. So we gave you also examples. We taught you examples of what? Examples of physical quantity. Examples of physical quantity. Okay, examples of physical quantity. Then we defined to you a concept that we call the unit of measurement. This is the last concept that we taught you in previous session. What the unit of the measurement, and hence we define that a unit of measurement is a unit that provides a specific meaning to the magnitude of the substance. So the magnitude of the substance is meaningless without unit. And hence we taught you about SI unit, which this one is a French word that means, or that's is called Système International de Unity. Système International de Unity, or International System of Unity. And hence we gave you some examples of SI unity, just to remind you what we taught you in Form 1. So it means that examples. So examples of some of the SI units: meter, then we have what? Kilogram. We have also second. Okay, we have also Newton, etc., etc., etc. Then we left a homework for you about mentioning the physical quantities, or 2 types of physical quantities. So today in this lecture, let me teach you firstly about what? The first concept is types of physical quantities. And this is still a revision of what we taught you in Form 1. So because most students, they forgot what we taught them during the Form 1 level, but they can quickly review in detail through our other official YouTube channel that called the Tanzania Online O-Level Circuit School. You can review those materials if you have forgotten, because we don't have time to repeat everything. So in this subtopic of measurement, we say that in physics, there are 2 basic types of physical quantities. Namely, the first one, the first one is called the fundamental physical quantity. Fundamental physical quantity. And the second one is called the derived physical quantity. So derived physical quantity. So these are the 2 types of physical quantity. The first one, so let us study the first types of physical quantity. Fundamental physical quantity. Fundamental physical quantity. And we have this interesting question. So it is question 1 for session 4. What is, you can pause the video and ask yourself, what is fundamental physical quantity? It's not a new term for you, for a physics student. What is fundamental physical quantity? Please, you can pause the video and list these 7 steps for you to. Oh, okay, so I ended in playlist, yeah? Okay, excuse me. The 7th step, you can click the icons of share at the bottom of this video in order to share this video link to other students or parents via social media. Example, Facebook, email, Twitter, Telegram, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, etc., 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 so that other parents can pass this information to other students who are in advanced level. And remember that advanced physics in Tanzania is being studied by the students of the following combination: PCM, PCB. So if you're parents or guardians and you have your son or daughter that is pursuing one of these combination, then he or she has a responsibility to master advanced physics. So only 4 combinations, only students who are studying either of these 4 combinations will benefit or have a responsibility to study advanced physics: PCM, PCB, PGM, and PMC. P stands for advanced physics. So welcome to TOASO. What is fundamental physical? What is fundamental quantity? Or what is fundamental physical quantity? What is fundamental physical quantity? What is fundamental physical quantity, or in other words, we call it base quantity? So we say that in physics, fundamental physical quantity, we say that is independent, not dependent, is an independent physical quantity is an independent physical quantity. Very important word. Is an independent physical quantity that is not possible to express, that is not possible to be expressed in other physical quantity. That is not possible to be expressed in other physical quantities. In other physical quantities. So, fundamental physical quantity is an independent physical quantity that is not possible. That is not what is not possible to be expressed in other physical quantities. To be expressed in other physical quantities. So it's not possible. So it's independent. Is the independent physical quantity that is not possible to be expressed in other physical quantities. Okay, this is the one of the definition. It's clear. So it's independent. It's not dependent. But we cannot express fundamental physical quantities in other physical quantities. While the second page, derived physical quantities, all the derived physical quantities can be expressed in other physical quantities. And that is fundamental quantity. So all derived physical quantities can be expressed in fundamental physical quantities. The second way of defining this term, we say that is a fundamental physical quantity is a fundamental unit adopted for measurement of base quantity, or fundamental physical quantity. We say that is a fundamental unit. Is a fundamental unit. This is the fundamental unit. The fundamental unit adopted. The fundamental unit adopted for measurement of a base quantity. For measurements of base quantity. That this definition, the second definitions, I took it from Wikipedia. So what is fundamental physical quantity? Fundamental physical quantity is the independent physical quantity that is not possible to be expressed in other physical quantities. What is, or in other words, fundamental physical quantity is a fundamental unit adopted for a measurement of the base quantity. Fundamental physical quantities, in some of the books, we call it basic quantity. You can pause the video and then list these seven steps for registrations in Total ASO on the piece on your copybook, so you can keep these informations. But it's very simple to follow. But especially from the sixth step to the seventh step, this is very important because you have to do it oftenly in every session. But just need to follow first step to the fifth step. Okay, first step to the fifth step, you have to just do it only once, right? Only once. You do it every day, but except the fifth step, which you have to do it only once. But step 1 to 4 and step 6 to 7, you do it, or you administrative, you have to do for every session. So keep this one, and later on, when I'll be repeating for the new viewers, then you can skip into the next part of the session. Thank you for understanding, and thank you for registering yourself to be a permanent online advanced secondary student. So we have defined the term measurement. What are the examples of measurement of the fundamental physical quantities? Okay? So before I give you 7 fundamental physical quantities in physics, let me mention some examples. So examples of fundamental physical quantities fundamental physical quantities are mass. We have also length of the physical quantity. We have also time. These are 3 basic fundamental physical quantities. Again, ladies and gentlemen, would like to present, means to teach you, or means to mention some other fundamental physical quantities. These are 3. This we call them basic fundamental physical quantities, which we'll talk with them about them later on. But right now, let me teach you about 7 examples. Okay, 7 fundamental physical quantities. So I'm going to teach you 7 fundamental physical quantities in the year SCI unit. Remember, SI unit, it's a French word, means system international. System international. Okay, SI unit. So in the year, SI units. Okay? So you say that in physics, there are 7, okay, fundamental physical quantities, quantities used in measurement. In measurement of the physical quantity. So these are, okay, these 7 quantities are, so we'll be presenting the information in the table. Okay. We present the information in the table. These are shown, or these are listed in table 4.1 below. So here we have a name of fundamental physical quantity. And then on this side we have SI unit of fundamental physical quantity. The first fundamental physical quantity used in physics is called the length. It's called length. The SI unit of length is meter. Its symbol is log or smaller letter m. The second fundamental physical quantity is mass. And then its SI unit is kilogram. Its symbol for SI unit is kg, lowercase. Then the third fundamental physical quantity is called the time. Then SI unit is second, and the symbol is lowercase s. The fourth fundamental physical quantity is temperature. Possibly that this is new, we didn't teach you in formal, but we are teaching you right now in A level. The SI unit of temperature is not centigrade, is not Fahrenheit, it's Kelvin. And the symbol is capital K. Wonderful. So I believe that in case you missed the session 3, titled as Measurement of Physical Quantities or Measurement and Physical Quantities, you can access session 3 in our official YouTube channel that called Tanzania Online A-Level Circuit School in square bracket OLENJOLAIM. So the fifth fundamental quantity is called the current. The SI unit of current is called the ampere. So you cannot express current in other physical quantities. The symbol for the ampere is capital letter A. Okay? So it's a current or electric current. The sixth fundamental quantity is what? The sixth fundamental quantity we call it amount of substance. Amount of substance. So amount of substance, its SI unit, we call it mole. In short, we call it mole. Okay? So amount of substance. The last fundamental physical quantities, we call it luminous intensity. Luminous intensity, its SI unit is called the candela. And this is C candela, CD, so lowercase CD. So the SI unit of luminous intensity is called the candela. So this is table 4.1. So you may organize in this style. So even here, you may be having this. Means that you have the physical quantity and its corresponding unit. Then here you may have another separating line between one physical quantity to another physical quantity. So right like that. So this is called it what? Table 4.1. It's called what? Fundamental 7 fundamental physical quantities. And the SI units. And they are SI unit. Okay, so that is all about 7 fundamental physical quantities and their SI unit. The most common fundamental physical quantities that are used frequently in physics are length, mass, and time. Note this. Among these 7 physical quantities, the most useful common fundamental physical quantities are mass, length, and the time. Mass, length, and time. So this mass, its symbol in dimension is capital M, and the length, the symbol for length is L, and the symbol for time is T. So these are, remember that, are most useful, common useful fundamental physical quantities. Mass, length, and and time. So mass is the measure of how much matter is in an object. Is a measure. Mass is a measure of how much matter is in an object. And length is the measure of how long an object is. And time is the measure of time. Time taken for the particular physical quantities to be completed. All right? So I believe that you've finished to copy this information. In case you have any question about measurement, don't hesitate yourself to ask it in the comment section of this video, and I will answer your question effectively. 10. I will answer your question effectively. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, I've mentioned that in physics you have 2 types of physical quantities: fundamental physical quantity and derived physical quantity. So I have taught you about fundamental physical quantity. Allow me right now to teach you and remind you about derived physical quantities. Then we go into detail of this session, or the second part of session 4, which is all about dimension. Okay, so the second type of physical quantity is called the derived physical quantity. Derived physical quantity. Derived physical quantity. Derived physical quantity. What is derived physical quantity? That is the second fundamental question for this session. What is derived physical quantity? What the meaning of derived physical quantity? Derived physical quantities, because this is plural. So derived physical quantities. So derived physical quantities. So we say derived physical quantities. Derived physical quantities are the physical quantities which are derived from other fundamental physical quantity. From other fundamental physical quantity. From other fundamental physical quantities. Okay, that's the definitions of derived physical quantities. So fundamental physical quantities cannot be expressed in other physical quantities, but derived physical quantities are expressed in fundamental physical quantities. You see how do they relate? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me mention some examples of what? Examples of what? Of derived physical quantities in physics. You can pause a video, okay, derived physical quantity. You can pause a video and mention at least 10 examples of derived physical quantities. In fundamental physical quantities, I mentioned 7 examples. So because we taught you these concepts in Form 1, the topic called measurements, actually the third topic of the set topic for the Form 1, for the physics Form 1. So you can mention at least 10 examples of derived physical quantities. Pause the video and then list 10 examples of derived physical quantities, then come back to our program and keep enjoying the beauty of physics. So the first one, it's area. The second one, it's volume. Always start from the simplest. The third, this area, volume. The third one, it's what? Velocity. Velocity or speed. Remember here we are not talking about scalar and vector. So the fourth one, because in scalar and vector speed is not equal to velocity. Okay, the first one is what? Force. Then the fifth one is called the momentum. And then the sixth example of derived physical quantity is called the pressure, which you introduced to you during your ordinary secondary education of Form 1. The seventh derived physical quantity is called the torque. Then the eighth derivative physical quantity is called the acceleration or retardation, acceleration and deceleration. So that's the eighth. The ninth physical quantity after it's called the angular momentum, because that is linear momentum, angular momentum, and hence because I asked you to mention 10, then the 10th physical direct physical quantity is called the it's called the modulus, or simply just let me call it just Young's modulus. Young's modulus, or simply called the modulus. Or you can call this stress. Young modulus, the 11th physical quantities. These are new stress. We don't mean the psychological stress. Okay, the 12th example of direct physical quantity is strain. However, that is strain. Okay, strain. Yes, strain, because it's expressed in fundamental quantity of 40. In fundamental quantity of 40 of length. Okay, strain. So this is one of the fundamental physical quantity. That's the 12. But the 13th is what? Coefficient of what? Of viscosity, etc. So I've mentioned 13 examples of derivative physical quantities. So the first eight derivative physical quantities are common names, or are common derivative physical quantities that we taught you in physics of ordinary secondary education. But the 9th example to the 13th examples, those are the new physical quantities that we are going to teach you in advanced physics Form 5. Example, angular momentum will teach you in one of the topic of mechanics, because the main topic here is mechanics. That's called rotational of the rigid body. Then Young modulus, Young modulus, stress and strain, these are the 3 physical quantities that we are going to teach you in the subtopic of of mechanics that call the properties of matter, and in the topic called the elasticity. Then coefficient of viscosity, this is will teach you in the subtopic of mechanics that call the fluid dynamics, and the viscosity will teach you in the part of viscosity. So stay tuned. Good news is still coming about advanced physics. All right. So let us continue with our session, and then that is at this moment we believe that you are competent in physical quantities. So let us take you into the next step, or into the next interesting part of measurement. So we say that the topic of measurement measurements, okay, can be divided into two subtopics, called the dimension. First subtopic of measurement is called dimension, and the second one is called the errors. So we'll teach you both of these topics. So right now, let me teach you, ladies and gentlemen, about dimension. So dimension, just we call it dimension, but we mean dimension of physical quantity. And we have the third fundamental question for this session is, what is dimension? What is dimension? What is dimension? That's the question that you have. I found two definitions for you. Are you ready to receive? Dimension in most cases, it's a new term for the all pre-Form 5, Form 5, Form 6, QT reciters, teachers who are teaching class 12, who are studying or who are learning the combinations of PCM, PCB, PGM, PMC, and also teachers who are teaching those combinations. So the first definition of dimension is this. Dimension so let me start in this way. In physics and mathematics, and mathematics, dimension of a physical quantity is defined as, so dimension is a measurable extension. Is a measurable extension of a particular kind. Is a measurable extension of what, of a particular kind of a physical quantity. For example, we can have okay, so I say that dimension is a measurable extensions of a particular kind of physical quantity, such as what? Such as length of object, and then we have weight, we have what? Maybe height, we have depth. So these are the same physical quantities. This is the same physical quantities, which is called the length, but you can have length, weights, heights, breadths, so that is okay, width means 30, depths, etc., etc., etc. Or what? Or depths. That is the first definition of dimension. So what is dimension? Dimension is a measurable extensions of particular kind of physical quantities such as length, width, height, and what? And depths. Or in other words, dimension. We say again in physics and in mathematics, we may define dimension as dimension the dimension of mathematical space informally defines is the minimum numbers of coordinates needed. So in mathematics and physics, the dimension of mathematical, so the dimension of mathematical mathematical space. Dimension of mathematical space in informally is defined as minimum so dimension in mathematics and physics, dimension of the physical or the mathematical space is defined as minimum number of coordinates needed to specify any point within it. In case you have any question about session 4, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section. So say at minimum number of what? Of coordinates. Okay? Minimum number of 40 of coordinates needed to specify any point within it. Any point within it. So that's the definition of 40 of dimension. So in physics and mathematics, the dimensions of mathematical space is informally defined as minimum number of coordinates, needed to specify any point within it. Any point within it. So that the definitions, both of these definitions I took them from the reference books that I mentioned in session 00, the general introductions of advanced physics form 5 and advanced physics form 6. I mentioned more than 10 reference books. If you missed it, just go back, because we know that you're pre-form 5 students. Just go back and check those reference books and then find them in order for you to enjoy the beauty of 40 of physics. For that case, in order to meet that objective of equipping our students with relevant materials for them to learn advanced physics as active learners, so we have established also a library that we call it Tanzania Online Advanced Library, where you can order books, materials, and the devices that are essential for you to master advanced education. Right? For instance, one of the important and this called fundamental reference books is a syllabus, and this is called the physics syllabus for advanced secondary education. This is the advanced physics syllabus used in entire country of Tanzania. If you're an international student, share us in the comment sections about the name of your syllabus for high school. So this is the syllabus that we are asking every student to have, either this book or a copy of it. And in our library, you can order this book, because we are not doing business, we are equipping our students with very important materials. You can order this book with only a price of Tanzania shillings, just a Tanzania shillings of 15,000. So you can order it online, and we can send in we can send to you in any of 31 regions of United Republic of Tanzania. So don't be hesitated that whether you are northern of Tanzania or southern of Tanzania or central of Tanzania, believe me or not, believe me that we'll send this book once you pay the buying cost, because we are buying from the wholesale book store. In retail, this book costs more than 15,000. But we've been asked to sell to you with a price of 15,000, right? Then we have also some reference. We call them. We recommend this as a textbook for you to learn physics. This is called the Principles of Physics. The companies, the publishers is called the Quantities, and this is for class 11 in India. But in Tanzania, this book is effectively used by the pre-Form 5 students, Form 5 students, and even Form 6 students, because the entire or all the 11 topics of mechanics can be covered or are being covered or are being explained in this book. This book is famous as Chandi 1. We have also Principles of Physics for class 12, which is famous in Tanzania as Chandi 2. And then the publisher is the same, and even the side of the book is the same. So this is Chandi 1, we have also Chandi 2. How much does it cost? We bought it in the wholesale shop, and then we are selling to you with the price nearly equal to the price of the wholesale shop. You can order this book with only gift of 45,000 Tanzania shillings. You can also order Principles of Physics Principles of Physics class 12, which you call Chandi 2, with the price of with a gift of 50,000 Tanzania shillings. Again, that will be not enough if we equip you with. We have also some other in our library. We have also some other reference textbooks such as Nelcon. Nelcon, you can order it with only a price of 30,000 Tanzania shillings. You can also book that called the A-level physics or advanced level physics by Roger Mancaster with only a price of 85,000 Tanzania shillings. But also that was not enough. We wanted to equip you with what? With questions and answers, because at the end will be tested, at the end of our channel of learning advanced physics will be tested by the nectar. For Tanzanian students will be tested by, even myself have been tested by the nectar with exams, with the 3 exams of physics that called the Advanced Certificate Secondary Education Examination Paper 1. And this the reference, the questions and answers. It comprises questions and answers of 2003 to 2016, right? Also, this one is called. You will be tested with a paper that's called the Advanced Certificate Secondary Education Examination Paper 2 and Advanced Certificate Secondary Education Examination of Advanced Physics Paper 3. So this is Advanced Physics Paper 1, Advanced Physics Paper 2, and also you have Advanced Physics Paper 3, which is the practical exam. So you can order this book with a very affordable price of 17,000 per each book, Tanzania shillings. So this you can buy with 17,000. Our advice, because we want you to have a library in your bag or in your home or in your studying room, you can order a package of these books, and there is a very interesting discount to our students, because we want to equip all our students with relevant materials, right? So you can order a package of this book, and you are going also to minimize the transport cost, because if you order this book itself, the transport cost to your place is the same as you order this entire package of the books. So may God bless you. You're warmly welcome to order books in Tanzania Online Advanced Library. Wonderful. So after defining or after teaching you the definitions of dimension, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to teach you against another important terminology that we call in physics or in measurement dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis. So dimensional analysis. Say with me, dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis. So we have a question here. This will be a fundamental question 4. What is dimensional analysis? That is very important question. What is dimensional analysis? I have found 2 definitions from the reference books that I recommended to all our online students. And one of the definitions is this. In engineering, in what, my dear student? In engineering and what? In engineering and science, dimensional analysis is the analysis of relationship, of the relationship between different physical quantities by identifying their fundamental quantities or their base quantities, and the unity of measure. Of measure. This is one of the definitions of dimensional analysis. What is dimensional analysis? In engineering and science, dimensional analysis is the analysis of the relationship between different physical quantities. So here we'll be teaching you about relationship between different physical quantities by identifying their fundamental quantities and unity of measure. So we'll teach you how you can identify. Dimensional analysis simply is a relationship between different physical quantities. But how are we going to start them? We are going to start them by identifying their fundamental physical quantities for that derivative physical quantities and the unity of measure. They have been measured in meter or in kilometer or maybe in kilograms or in grams or maybe in Newton or in meter per second square. That's one of the definitions of dimensional analysis. That is the heart of dimension. We'll be teaching about dimensional analysis from the next session and how we do analysis of the different physical quantities. Or the other reference defining the terms are dimensional analysis. In this, we're using these words: dimensional analysis is a practice of checking relations between physical quantities, between physical quantities is a practice of checking relation between physical quantities by identifying the dimension of the. So I said it's a practice of checking relation between physical quantities by identifying the dimension of physical quantity. So what is dimensional analysis, our dear student? Well, dimensional analysis is a practice. Dimensional analysis is a practice that shows relationship. Dimensional analysis is a practice that shows, or is a practice of checking relations between physical quantities by identifying the dimension of what? By identifying the dimension of what? Of physical quantities. That's the meaning of what? Of dimensional analysis. So today, you have to remember the definitions of fundamental physical quantities, its examples, its unity, and also the definitions of the relative physical quantities, its examples, and its unity. You have to remember the definitions of the term dimension, its examples, and what? Its examples, and the derivative, its examples, and its unity. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to teach you for the remaining of this lecture, I teach about symbols of dimensional analysis. Symbols of dimensional analysis, and I will give you some distinctions between symbols of dimensional analysis from the symbols of its unity. So let me teach about symbols or symbol of dimensional. What the symbol of dimensional analysis? What is international symbol of dimensional analysis in physics and mathematics? So we say that. The physicists use often the square, uses often the symbol of dimensional analysis. So the physicists use often the symbol of dimensional analysis of what? Square bracket. Square bracket. So you say square bracket, we mean that this square bracket. So you have a square bracket enclosing what? The physical quantity. Square bracket that encloses what? Encloses the physical quantity. So the symbol of dimensional analysis, ladies and gentlemen, symbol for dimensional analysis is this one. That we have the open square bracket, and inside we have only one physical quantity. One physical quantity. So this is the simple 40 of dimension analysis that will be used intensively in physics and especially advanced physics for the Form 5 and Form 6. So this reads as dimension of what? Of a physical quantity. So you say that whenever you find dimension of a physical quantity, so say that this reads as dimensional analysis of a physical quantity, a single physical quantity. If you find a group of physical quantities, then you have to use a square bracket for each physical quantity. Examples of use of the symbol of dimensional analysis. Let me give you examples of dimensional analysis of some physical quantities. So we mentioned fundamental physical quantities and relative physical quantities. And this is the first example. We say that the dimension of mass. The dimension of mass, this is represented as square bracket of the physical quantity called mass, and this is equal to what? So the dimension of mass is equal to capital letter M. The dimension of the dimension of the second fundamental physical quantity, the dimension of what? For the dimension analysis of time, this is written by using the square bracket of time, and the response is capital letter T. The reason for me, to mention the dimension or to start showing you the dimension analysis of fundamental physical quantity. Then the dimension of a 3D fundamental physical quantity of what? Of length. This is given as square bracket of length, which is equal to what? To capital letter R. More examples. You want more examples? The dimension of what? The dimension of length. No, dimension of what? For example, the dimension of area, which the relative physical quantity, which will teach you, is equal to the dimension of area. And this because area is always a product of two sides of the geometrical figure, it's our square. Number 5. Then the dimension of what? The dimension of density. How do we find the dimension of the density? So we write the square bracket, and then our physical quantity is density, then we close the square bracket. This one will be equal to what? So the dimension of the density, because it's the relative physical quantity, which is a ratio of mass and the volume. So it is what? It is mass and then times length power negative 3. That is the dimensions. I will teach you. The next sessions I will teach about derivations of derivations of dimension of the different physical quantities. I will teach you more than 30 physical quantities, dimensions of more than 30 physical quantities, so it will make you competent to solve any problems about dimension. So these 5 examples are enough because maybe I can keep on confusing you because I didn't teach you about that concept yet. So right now, it's a time for the homework. And this is homework 4. Because in every session, I have to make sure that I leave the homework for you. And possibly this is example 3, if I'm not mistaken. So use the table to list these physical quantities with the year respective symbols, the symbol of mass, the year respective symbol, and what the SI unit. What the goal of these questions? The goal of these questions, we want to show you that what is it? The year respective symbols, or their respective symbol, and what? And their respective symbols, because the sentence say that the symbol of dimension analysis may be different from. Use the table to list these physical quantities with their respective symbol and the symbol of dimensional analysis. The example, let me give you an example. Now this is the physical quantity. And here we have what? The symbol of that physical quantity. Then we say that symbol of dimensional analysis. So for example, we have mass. Then the symbol is mass. Respective SI unity with the year respective SI unit. So here is not a symbol, it's SI unit, symbol of SI unit, and this symbol of dimension analysis. So the symbol for dimension analysis of mass is L. So I did that example for you, and then you have to use the given example to list the following physical quantities. The second one's length. So you have to remember the SI unit of length, the symbol of SI unit of length, and the symbol of the dimension analysis of length. Then time, and then temperature, okay? After you do that, then you say that comment what? Comment the difference. So comment what? Comment comment. State weather or observe the difference between the symbol of SI unit and the dimensional analysis. That is the other question. Ladies and gentlemen, this is end of session 4. I'm still full with the different concepts of dimension, but the Holy Spirit is saying that OLENJOLAI is enough for session 4. I will cover other materials in the next session, which is session 5, and I would like to invite you to join me in session 5, where I will teach you about dimensional formula, and I'll teach you about steps to follow and how you can derive dimensional analysis of the different physical quantities. Don't miss it. Make sure that you subscribe onto our channel, you like our video, you share this video links to other students or parents. You ask questions in the comment section. You read the descriptions by clicking the buttons written show more. And then you watch previous sessions of measurements. You ask a question in the comment section. You submit this homework in the comment section. You give us feedback in the comment sections whether you've been understanding, because the heart of the ASO is understanding. So we have to make sure that the slow learner, intermediate learner, and even faster learner understand what we are teaching. The last but not the least announcement, we'd like to invite you to offer your freewheeling thanksgiving to our Father who is in heaven, who is the founder and the sponsor of this program, through the telephone number above, which is 0759745331. And your freewheeling thanksgiving will be used effectively to support the running cost, so that more than 600 videos of advanced physics, advanced chemistry, advanced mathematics, advanced applied mathematics from 5 and from 6 to be recorded in order to train and teach present and future generation wirelessly, anywhere, at any time. So task will be the use of your freewheeling thanksgiving. You are not late. You may offer it right now, or you may offer it in the next session, because you could have paid a lot of amount of money to you to have these contents. But thanks God, by His own grace, He has already paid, and He asked me to offer my freewheeling thanksgiving of the gift of teaching that He built in me, and He gave me to teach these contents of advanced physics, advanced chemistry, advanced mathematics from 5 and from 6 to all advanced or to all high school students, free of charge, without charging them. It's difficult to make such decision if you stand in the positions of a teacher, but it's simple. In a humanity nature, it is difficult if you stand in the positions of the teacher to teach all of these contents free of charge, because it's a work of more than 1 year. But to God, everything is possible and nothing is difficult, but everything is simplified by the grace and truth of God who lives forever and ever. So, I would like to invite you in the next session, session 5. Watch this video several times until these concepts are built up in your mind. And then use the opportunity to give us feedback in the comment sections and ask you questions at any point of session 4. May God bless you and keep you. This is OLENJOLAI, a national and international teacher of advanced physics from 5 and a national and international advanced physics teacher or 40 or Form 6. Stay enjoying the beauty of physics science. Advanced physics is a beautiful subject for the rest of your life. May God protect you until I meet you in the next session. Keep enjoying the beauty of advanced physics.
Ibariki